Good afternoon, everybody. This is Paul Finkelstein with OMG Talk or onlinemeetandgreet.com. Today we have a special guest all the way from, well, I'll let him tell you about that. His name is Scott Taylor. You can see him just to my left or right, depending on which way you're facing. How are you, Scott?
Just fine, thank you.
Good to have you. And let's learn all about your business. I know we met on LinkedIn and Alignable. Alignable.com is actually an up-and-coming small business network. Just under 10 years. I think maybe close to 7, but I've seen some podcasts of the founder of Alignable, and it seems pretty promising and interesting. The first question I'd love to know about your business, which I ask about a lot of businesses, which is how long are you doing what you're doing and what are you doing?
Well, the Cloudy Assistant is a CRM system, which customer relationship management. And what we do is we work with insurance agents primarily. Now, in saying that, that's what the CRM was created for. But it's actually, I mean, I'm a software company and I use it. We've got construction companies using it. We got lawyers using it. We got real estate using it, financial people using it. So there's many people that can use it. The only thing is when it comes to the questions of how old are you or what your height is and things of that nature, we just ignore those. I don't want to ask some lady what her weight is when I'm just selling a software system. So things of that nature, that's basically all you have to do and change that. So we've been in business. Actually, the product was started, it was developed back in 2004. So it's been around for many years, but the owner of the product, the guy who created it, he was selling insurance, and it was quite phenomenal what actually happened to him. He was a civil engineer, and his father-in-law was in insurance, and he convinced him to try insurance, and that's basically it, try it, So he did, he got into it, and the first year that he went out selling, or after the first year was over, he went and told his father-in-law, he says, okay, look, I'm done with this, I got to quit this. And he says, what are you talking about? You made $60,000. He says, but I spent $40,000 in leads, He says, we're starving. I got to go out and make some money, And he says, well, look, now you've got some residual income coming in, and, you've built this up. You don't want to give up on it right now. So just give it some more time, give it another year and see what happens. So he says, well, okay, fine. I'll go ahead and do that, but I'm not doing it your way. Your way sucks. And he says, there's got to be a better way of doing this. I'm going to automate this. So he ended up having this product created. And after he started using it, by 2008, 4 years later, he was the #1 selling agent in the nation. So he just really kicked butt with this product. And then many other people wanted to use it, and the insurance company ended up buying it off him. And he says, well, okay, as long as I can keep using it. So they went and paid him a bunch of money for it, and he thought that was great. Well, after several years, the insurance company was having some difficulties and they were going to go out of business. They still owed him a bunch of money. So they said, hey, will you take this software product back in lieu of some of the money that we owe you? And he says, sure, I'll take it back. And so that was back in 2013. And a couple months later, he hired me, and we got some other technical people in there and involved as well. We started going with it. Well, the thing that's really nice about Cloudia is we don't advertise, which that doesn't sound like a nice thing. I mean, of course, we could do a lot better if we had advertising, but we are growing organically. It's basically word of mouth. The product is taken off as it has. And the thing that's good about that is we're in the black. We don't owe anybody anything. So because of that, we have not raised our rates since back in 2013. We are still only $29.99 a month, which is unheard of for a professional CRM system. So it's very powerful in what it can do. One of the big things that people really love about it, and one of the main reasons, I mean, people that even have CRMs will still come to us with our CRM because of our direct marketing.
Is it only on the PC or is it on an app also?
What's that?
Is it only on a PC? Is it web-based, or is it only on an app also?
It's not on an app, but in saying that, it'll work with any browser. So if you've got and it does work like on your phone. If you got an iPhone, it works really great. Everything just works just as you would, although it's browser based, not an actual app. On the Android side, it's a little more difficult because there's no right click on an Android. And some of the things you do in the browser is right click. And so on that side, we run into difficulties. There's some things you just can't do on the phone. They need to get on the computer to run it. But it doesn't really hamper it much. I mean, as far as getting your information, contacting somebody, and things of that nature. You can do all that.
And out of a 1 to 10, how does it rank as far as ease of use compared to, say, your competition?
Well, I've been using CRMs for over 30 years, close to 35 years now. Okay. And this is by far the easiest CRM that I've ever used. It's one of the things that floored me, especially when it comes to the drip marketing. And the reason being is I've used Act, Goldmine, Salesforce, and many big ones, and a whole bunch of custom CRMs as well. But in all of that, one of the things that I always hated was the drip marketing, because it was always so convoluted to be able to get an actual campaign running. It would take so much time and effort that I would do it once a month because I had to, because I just had to get something out there. But it was just so difficult. You're sitting there for 45 minutes to an hour trying to get some campaign to work. You try it, it doesn't work. You finally got to break out the user's manual to play with it to get it work. Now, they may have improved since then because I've been with Claudia for 6 years. But at the time that they showed me Claudia, and the guy who was showing me was just kind of buzzing through it really quick, and he got to the drip marketing, and he's sitting here in about 5 minutes. He goes through this whole thing, showing me how the whole thing works, and continues on to something else. I'm going, well, wait a minute, that couldn't have been that easy. That's impossible. So as soon as they finally turned us loose, that's the first thing I went after. I was going, no way, that can't be that easy. So I went in there and I figured it out within 5 minutes. And I was going, I don't believe it. And it actually worked. And I was going, that is phenomenal. And then after doing it 2 or 3 times and understanding how the whole thing worked, I could do a campaign in less than a minute. Okay, it's so simple.
And your campaign comes with actual, like, a lead list as well, or separate CRM from a lead list?
Yeah, it's separate. You'd have to provide your own leads. It's not a lead generating system.
Gotcha.
So it's once you get those leads, you put it into the system and work it from there. But the thing that's really nice about it is you can create drip marketing, and even using it, when you talk about how easy it is, we have free training. We got 2 basic trainings. They go on Thursday. Every week we separate them, or we swap them. One is going to be on how to use it. The other one is how to set it up. And once you go through those basic trainings, and we have free technical support too. So if you ever get stuck and need some help, you just give us a call. And even if we're busy, you don't even have to leave a message. Does
the basic training include push-ups, by the way?
It should.
Because I'm a little weak in that department. I could maybe when I first log in, it should say do 10 push-ups.
Yeah, that would be handy. I do my own exercise because I sit down all day long. So yeah.
I could imagine, right? Let me interject and ask you a second question, and it could be an extension to what you've been talking about in business, or you can make it personal, either one or both. And if you could share 1 or 2 success stories that you're proud
of. Well, there's actually quite a few. Where I consider success stories is not necessarily my own personal success, but where we've helped other people succeed. And that's what always brings more joy to me than anything else. And this product is one of them, and there's other things I've sold too that have been very helpful to others. One was an accounting system that we sold, which just revolutionized the way that accounting was. This was many years ago, though, so it was called Flexible Software, and is called Flexware was the name of it, but it's Flexible Software, and they could do so much with it. It had so many capabilities. We had this one brother, or these 2 brothers that were accountants, and they were struggling with their business. And when they started using that software, and we started teaching them how to do it in different tricks of accounting and things that we could do, they more than doubled their business in their first year. Okay, just because they also, we taught them marketing principles as well to get in there to build your business and go. So that was kind of phenomenal. The other one, on working with Claudia, the thing that's been phenomenal is the drip marketing. Again, it all falls under there. Basically, it's marketing. That's me. I'm a marketer. So seeing what marketing does for people is quite phenomenal. And what's happened with some of these insurance agents that are struggling, they just can't make anything work. And then suddenly they start using Claudia. And not only does Claudia start making them money because of the drip marketing and what's happening, but some of them, they actually build up to such a degree that they no longer do any cold calling at all. They're bringing in so much business because they do know how to do it right. It's not just the fact that Claudia does marketing, but you need to know how to do the marketing too. And we do train people on that as well. We give them tips and things if they've never done sales and marketing on how people think and how the type of campaigns you put together that they'll actually open and look at. But
So
some of these
mainly
folks,
the market is for insurance agents, or you also, I heard you say maybe it was realtors and lawyers and
yeah,
financial
many
people.
people, many different industries can use it, but it was created primarily for the insurance industry. So if you're an insurance agent, it's perfect for you.
All
If you're not,
levels of insurance or just a specific area? Like property and
it's
casualty, life insurance, long-term care, Medicare?
property and casualty basically use it just for the drip marketing, but it's really set up for health, life, Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, whichever one you want to work on there. And working, it's basically going to be Medicare, of course, but
Yeah, the Medicaid wouldn't be able to pay us probably.
that's right.
It's coming from the government. It was pretty good for you
Yeah.
if the government pays you.
Right. Well, some people they work with both of them. They have them in there, but I don't understand the insurance anyway. I'm not an insurance salesperson, but I just go by what I hear on that end. But yeah, it actually works for several industries, and even my son, he does a landscaping business, and I put the land or the drip marketing. I just put some of his leads he had in there. The drip marketing, he only used it for a month to put out a special campaign that he had, but as soon as he put it out there, he says, "Hey, wait a minute! I'm getting inundated with all these calls and stuff. I can't handle this."
Now,
So
the leads or the campaigns, is that something that integrates with an email program or integrates with a direct mail program or something
we
else?
integ- yeah, we actually integrate with several different lead gen companies. Okay, and there's different levels of integration. So some of them, if they're doing live transfers where they're actually got somebody on the phone and kicking it through. That's one level. Another is that they're emailing them leads. And Claudia is actually intelligent enough. It'll go into their inbox, find that lead, and import it into Claudia for them. So we can do that. We also have within Claudia, we have a marketplace where they can actually purchase leads from vendors that are in our marketplace. And then, of course, doing their own whatever they have, they can import leads through any kind of spreadsheet. And so those are the main ways that they can get leads into the system. But
Hmm.
you can have it set up so as soon as leads pop in, no matter which way they come in, you could have emails automatically going out right away. You'd have them going out immediately, one a couple days later, a couple days after that, and so forth. Spread it out. You could have your newsletter. It's really good for retention purposes too. And that's where a lot of people make mistakes, is they only think of this type of marketing or drip marketing just for bringing business into their system. But it's actually good for retention purposes too. If you can keep in tabs with all of your people by sending them an email, and that email looks personal, that it actually came from you directly, and even then these people don't know that you're sending this to a few thousand people, it just still shows that, hey, they're actually thinking of me, and they will remember your name, which is a big reason. They actually had back in 2006, was the last time that I sold health insurance. And during that time, I was working for United American, and they had about 5,000 agents there. And I only worked for this company for just a little over a year. And in my first year, my manager called me in and said, "Scott, in our branch, we had about 40 people." Okay. And he brings me in and says, "Hey, Scott, I just want to let you know that you're in the top 20. I was going, 20 out of 40, big deal. That's something to be excited about. And I says, "I've never even been the top salesperson in any given week in our branch." And he says, "Not in our branch, in the entire company." He's going, "In the entire company? How is that even possible? There's 5,000 agents, and I was only working part-time. I was only working 3 days a week." I was going, "How is that possible that I could be the top person in that company?" And I actually was ranked I got up as high as number 11 in the company within that first year that I was working there.
Would that
And
mean you still have some residual on the books?
no, once you leave the company, it only lasts for a couple months and then they cut you off and the
Oh,
residuals
because
go
it was
somewhere.
internal, it wasn't like you were an outside agent.
Right, exactly. It was internal. But because of that, or when he told me that, I just, when I asked him, "How is that possible?" He says, "Because your business stays on the books." And then I knew why. There was two reasons. Number one is I was actually dealing honestly with people. I would tell them not only the good things, but the bad things with the insurance and the problems that it had. So you need to look out for this. But I gave them a financial plan so that when these bad things hit, or if they had like an MRI, it didn't cover an MRI, but they'd have money in the bank to cover that MRI. So I put together this financial plan for them to help them out. The other thing is that I stayed in touch with them. Back then, we didn't have this automated system. And so you actually had to stay in touch with them if you wanted to. Most insurance agents would just turn them over to the company and let the company do it. Well, because I stayed in contact with these people, they actually knew me. They knew my name. I'd also tell them that, hey, if somebody comes up to you and tells you they got some better plan, we've already created the best plan for you. So just give me a call and have me meet with them, or I'll meet with you so I can ask them the questions that are important to you, so you know what's going on. Well, of course, if some insurance agent comes up to them and says, I've got something that's really good, and says, good, I'll go ahead and call my insurance guy. You guys can get together and find out which is the best one, and nobody's ever going to call me. It's just not going to happen. So it precipitated the fact that no agents are going to deal with these guys again, and I kept the business, so I didn't lose it. And that's when, now that we got this automated system, you could be sending out drip marketing. You can send out emails to these folks to stay in contact with them, so you don't actually have to take the time to call each one individually. If I had this system back then, I definitely would have been number one. So it's what it can do for you.
Now, you've already touched upon so many things that really motivate you to do what you do, but maybe you could expand upon that, or is there something that really makes you passionate about why you're doing what you're doing with Claudia, or what you do out besides hobbies or anything? What gets you up out of bed every day?
Well, actually, this system does, because I spend most of my time doing it. But the thing that I really like, that I enjoy most of anything, even with my church group and other things, is we do service projects and things, and I like serving, I like helping people. Tomorrow morning, we got to go help somebody move, okay? And I'm going to be out there and helping somebody move. It's just that I like to do things that are going to actually have an impact in people's lives. It's going to change their life. It's going to make them better. So even though I'm selling a software product, one of the trainings that I do every time there's a fifth Thursday in the month, instead of doing the regular Claudia training, we do a training just on drip marketing, on the marketing aspects, how to sell, how to speak to people, how to motivate them to want to move forward or towards your product, okay, so that they can actually benefit their business. And that's what I really thrive on. If you look at my LinkedIn, it's all about helping people. On the image that they show at the top, that's basically what it all is. So that's what I really enjoy, is helping people. And that's one thing that I really loved about this product. This is actually the longest that I've ever been with any company. The longest I've ever been with a company that I didn't own is 2.5 years. Usually by then, somebody's taking advantage of me, cheating me, doing something. And so I leave the company and go to another one. I've been with Claudia for 6 years, 6.5 years. So it's more than double what I've been with any other company, because this company is really great. It doesn't take advantage of people, doesn't cheat people. It's all out there to help others, and that's what I love.
And one thing I actually love that you're actually very enthusiastic on this call, and I imagine you couldn't get to top 11 in that other company by not having some level of enthusiasm for what you're doing. And I think out of all the people that I've had on this talk show, if you will, for the last 50 or 60 so far, I wish I had 1,000 under my belt, so that I feel like I'd be more honed, that maybe I could get an offer on TV, or be my own TV show. And
Sure.
I'll just have the sponsor do my own graphics on this and make it look even prettier than this. But I really love the idea that you have so much enthusiasm compared to all the other 50 people that I've already talked to. Maybe there was at least one other that had that level. So I'm glad you have that, and it's kind of contagious, and it's picking me up. And now I feel like it's 8 o'clock in the morning when it's already 4 o'clock, and everybody can't wait till the end of the day on Friday, and then it's the weekend, and then go help somebody move or something.
Right.
Or just sleep in late or something, and not be as exciting when, of course, we each have businesses, and it's not a 9 to 5 kind of a thing, and we're always marketing. Like you said, you're a marketer, right. And my wife and I are continually doing that. The last question I have on my official list is how you want somebody to get a hold of you. Do you prefer someone to reach out to your LinkedIn or Alignable, or do you want to say a website or a phone number or an email? Up to you.
Yeah, the easiest way is actually if you just call my direct number. You can get a hold of me directly instead of going through the company and everything else. That number is 817-778-4515. Again, it's 817-778-4515. You can also get me on LinkedIn. It's Scott Taylor, but there's about 6,000 Scott Taylors. So that's a little more difficult to get me there.
I was
So
going to tell you that that's the easiest name to actually say on the phone or like this format. Scott Taylor, I could spell it. I don't have to ask you, but then you just told me there's 100 of you. So look
yeah.
for a guy that's got a little bit of a goatee and glasses and talks really enthusiastic. The other Scott Taylors are probably just can't wait to not wake up early on a Saturday morning and not help someone move like you do. At this point, if there's maybe 2 extra questions, if you feel comfortable, if you know, I'm sure you know 10, but maybe 2 that your typical customer has a really pain problem that they want to solve right away. What's the first 2 questions that pop up into your mind that somebody needs to solve right away? And ask those 2 questions if they're asking it, and then go ahead and answer it.
Well, that's really good, and you're right. There's a bunch of them, but the pain problem depends on what software they're working with currently, and they're running into some kind of difficulty there, and that's mainly what they want to do is help their pain. Now, a lot of the folks that are using Cloudia are individual agents, so for them, their pain is in actually organizing themselves. They don't know how to. Okay, so they're going after they're doing a very basic version of this CRM system, and that is to get them organized, to get all their leads in one place. I mean, one of the things that's really nice with Cloudia is it also has free storage. So you can put all the policies in Cloudia. So when somebody calls them up and they say, hey, I've got a question on my policy. Can you look this up for me really quick? Instead of them jumping back to a file cabinet and trying to throw everything together, they can just say, no problem. With them already up on the screen, they just click a button and they've got their policy popping up right now. Okay, so that's very simple and things that they can do, and they can keep themselves very organized. Also, we organize by folders, kind of like Outlook, so they can organize everything as if their own filing cabinet and put it together and be able to find people really easy. Plus the search engine and everything else, it's all there. That's one of the big ones. The other thing, again, is the drip marketing. People come to us because they've heard about us, usually a friend. It's referral based, so they're referring it, and they're always referring Cloudia because they're making money off of it. So they want to know how drip marketing works, how it can benefit them, and when we show them all the different options they have and things. I mean, you can have a drip marketing campaign going out just because you moved one lead from one folder to another folder, and that's all you have to do is move that lead into a folder. Suddenly, a drip marketing campaign goes out.
I might have
So,
missed something, but in the middle of that, in the direct marketing, did you mention anything like a referral fee or something? If somebody refers somebody to you or through the platform, Claudia?
well, people that use the system, if they're referring it, then we give them a free month's use
Mm-hmm.
of the system. We just comp them a month for everyone they send through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helps them out. That benefits them. Plus, it's so inexpensive. If they make one sale based on Cloudia, it'll pay for Cloudia for 2 years. Okay, so it's really inexpensive for what it does in bringing business. And like I say, there's actually several people and even managers that will, because of Cloudia, they do zero cold calls. They have enough business coming in from that. And it's always a lot easier to sell somebody when they're calling you as opposed to you calling them. And so that's one of the things that Cloudia does. It gets people to start calling you. So as far as them being able to utilize a system, one of the things that they worry about is this going to be hard to learn? Well, it's not. We take you through the training. And even if you do, if you run it and you have a problem or it's not working, you just give us a call. We can look at it in less than a minute. We can tell you what the problem is. And they're the same usual problems that everybody has anyway. So it's very easy for us to be able to figure out what the issue is and get them on the road running.
Do you have another question you want to share that might be another pain point, or is this a good stopping point?
Actually, it's a decent enough stopping point. There's many, when you're
Okay.
talking CRM, there's, like say, it just depends on what issue they're dealing with. And usually they're having a product that they're having problems with. So they come to us as the cure all. And of course, people can have problems with our product too. Not that much. We used to have, in the past, a few years ago, we switched operating systems, and our system was crashing like crazy. Every 2 or 3 days, it was crashing, and people were just getting fed up and frustrated. So we had problems too. Now it's very solid, and we don't run into those problems anymore. So now we're the place to go to instead of run from.
Excellent. Let's just do a little quick wrap up so everybody could understand where they're at.
Sure.
We've been talking with Scott Taylor with Claudia. It's a special CRM, and just listen to the video and you hear his enthusiasm. You'll probably want to know more information. He left his phone number right in the middle. And you can always catch Scott Taylor on LinkedIn or Alignable by Scott Taylor, and look for the glasses that you see in the video in front of you, because there's a whole bunch of Scott Taylors, but none of them with Claudia, I'm sure. He told us how long he's doing what he's doing and what he's doing, and helping insurance agents, realtors, anybody in sales, anybody in their own business to help stay organized. For one thing, that was one pain point that I think he really honed in on, is that if you have, let's see, I think it's like this. If your desk has a whole bunch of these on it,
That's right.
you need to get in touch with them. Maybe he could help you out with that. Maybe I'll be reviewing this video later myself. Now, the second thing that Scott talked about was when she shared a success story that he's proud of. He said he had a whole bunch. He probably did share a whole bunch with us today. And then he told us what motivates him to do what he does, how he gets, what motivates him to get out of bed every morning. And I think that helping people is definitely number one hot button. It actually reminds me how I do love to enjoy helping people, but I don't probably say it enough in my daily activity. And I like the way you express that. And he told us the best way to get a hold of him. Well, you can find him on LinkedIn, Scott Taylor, but there's probably 100, like there's 100 Paul Finkelsteins out there as well on LinkedIn. So it's good for identity theft. Could you say your phone number right here twice, one more time at this point?
Sure. No problem. 817-778-4515. Again, it's 817-778-4515.
And I do want to thank you, Scott, for joining us. Stick around just for a second as I wrap up this video. I'm Paul Finkelstein with omgtalk.com or onlinemeetandgreet.com. Not a business, at least not yet. It's just a way that I can meet everybody on my LinkedIn, my Alignable, or on social media, or in person, how we could have meetings and I could get the word out for your business, learn about you at the same time. Because I know if you network regularly at a Chamber of Commerce or any other leads groups, BNIs, NPIs, the tip groups, etc. After you do your one-on-one meeting, have a cup of coffee. The only thing left is the notes that you took if you didn't lose them. And I have this video that once they state that expression, if you go to Vegas, it stays in Vegas. Well, if it happens here on omgtalk.com, it stays on YouTube, right?
There you go.
and if I know someone looking for a CRM, I could just go through my video directory, take the YouTube link, send a copy to Scott, and you could send a copy to somebody else, and they could learn a little bit more about you who might be a brand new person, to build a little bit more rapport and get to know you. Well, thanks for joining us, Scott. It's great to meet you, and let's definitely keep in touch here on Paul at omgtalk.com.